no going back again. It's getting harder to go through the motions, 'cause we both know how this ends. I know myself a little too well, and it's a little too hard to let you go when you keep coming back. I know it hurts, but we're losing this fight for the last time. I can be the bad guy, so blame it on me. So blame it on me. Just blame it on me. Blame it on me. Just blame it on me. I can be the bad guy, so blame it on me.
Honey, I'm a perfect 10. What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They weigh me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. And if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. 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 Whoa. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. 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 Oh, yeah, I've discussed it with myself, and I'm disgusted with the way we're told to have a certain face. I stood and wait because we aren't pixels on a screen. No, we're human, we breathe. Every single thing we see curated. It's overrated. These expectations, they keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa. And if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to think. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10.
Hello, hello, and what is going on, everybody? I am once again your host, Bjorddd. Be joined by little PowPow a little later. Welcome to Week 6 of League of Legends. Your Tarleton Texans sit at 3-2. We'll be facing off against George Fox University today. Allow me to switch my screens for y'all real quick. Take a look at the draft as we have begun. Heading into Week 6 League of Legends action. Cannot wait. Simultaneous jungle bands, Zinzao, Jarvan taking off the board early here. Rounds of this draft. like this. It's giving you issues with the ban system. Be expected. Expect nothing less from Legends games. Dreams. Can have anything to do from the draft website to the load in to the client. I've seen it all at this point. None of it really surprises me. Being in chat with the Jax bit. Tarleton, they're gonna get their one sites, or if they seems like we're probably gonna get a remake. Like we get a remake of the draft to no surprise. Clearly, some of the bans are being. Draft League of Legends. Definitely no surprise. Of course, giving us issues. Nevertheless, we'll be heading. Actually, I have seen this website once before. Here we go. We go ahead and get set to go here. Bans are going to be outlined. Probably roll through them a little quickly now since we have the opportunity to discuss. Yeah, same bands that we saw before. Elvis, Zin, and Jax bans for Tarleton, followed by Jarvan, Swain, and Milio for the side of George Fox. Now we get to head into our first picks, which we haven't seen yet. Take a look at what Tarleton decided to lock in here. Get us going. Wow, we're going to get the Amumu here. Very interesting. Haven't seen Tarleton go with this one for a first pick yet. But, electing to change it up a little bit. China will lock in the Amumu. Guaranteed a little bit of tankiness. George Fox, they're going to be respond with confirming their bot lane. It'll be the Xayah Karma. Bad combination. Xayah's pretty meta in the current patch as it goes for ADC. Scaling damage that you want out of an ADC character, plus ability to make yourself invulnerable with the ultimate. Useful get out of jail free card, put it. Champions. Tarleton, they're going to elect to respond with the Tristana. I haven't seen it out of Mascara yet. One of these official matches. Still definitely a formidable pick. have so much burst as you get into the later stages of the game. Hold on, they're going to look to pair it with the Soraka. Panthers. Valdegrand really likes to emphasize, really. Very interesting. George Fox, they're going to lock in the Zach. I don't think Tarleton have faced a Zach yet at all in this NECC fall semester. Jungler has a lot of range. Dive, you can build a little bit of AP. Some Zach players like to go hybrid. Tank and AP items. Most of the time it's going to be tank though. Final bans here for both sides. Tarleton, they're going to go ahead and ban out the Ornn. Time. George Fox elect to ban 2 top laners. They'll be Mbessa and Shin taken off the board. Final ban here for Tarleton. Ari. Both mid and top yet to be selected. George Fox wasting no time, clearly having a game plan lined. They're going to lock in the Vladimir. Going to be the mid champion. Super high scaling potential is kind of the theme of this composition. See how Tarleton elect to respond. See the Orianna pick for Gimmick. Not too uncommon. We've seen him locking in a lot more recently, especially with the Swain taking off the board in pretty much every single game we've had. Got this in. But to round out Tarleton's composition, see what Mr. Gold elects to go here. No one's surprised. He picks his highest Master Champion. It's going to be Scion. Mr. Gold goes ahead and locks it in to round out this composition. George Fox, they're going to respond with the Yorick. Oh, he's going to be a difficult lane. But we'll see how Mr. Gold handle it. That will be the draft rounded out here for game number 1. Spot my screen. I just realized. Up to the draft. That is funny. So let me give y'all a look at it here. We have the Amumu, Tristana, Soraka, Orianna, and Scion here for the side of Tarleton. Daya, Karma, Zach, Vladimir, Yorick for George Fox. Definitely a few picks Tarleton haven't seen yet throughout the course of this year. We're going to see how it works out. Heading to game. Sorry about that. Guess I didn't have the draft pulled up. Doing it. No matter. I apologize. Ready to hop into game number 1. Just a few minutes. On the GFU side. All right, GFU now indicating that they're ready. Heading to game in just a moment, and there we go. final look at the champion selection. Joined by my co-caster now, Lil PowPow. Say hello to the stream.
Hello, hello. Can you go ahead and pull up me a stream for me? Too kind. What do you think about draft so far? What have you talked about?
Oh, we're getting a new jungler pick for Big China 63. It's gonna debut the Mumu here. Definitely for the GFU side of things, looking at a scaling composition, a very strong side laner in the Yorick. You got Vladimir, Zaya. Zac scales pretty well into the late game as well if you build tank. But overall, I do like the ideas behind both compositions. Go ahead and give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be very interesting. Both teams have a decent amount of champions that you don't see too often, so it's a more of a unique game that we've seen this year. So it's definitely going to be very interesting, fun to see what happens. So far, we have seen Mr. Gold on the Scion before. It's a very classic pick. As if anyone's been keeping up with Worlds as well, very, very big pick there. However, Yorick is a pretty decent counter, so that's probably going to be one of the highlight lanes. But of course, our bot lane always makes it very exciting to watch early game, whether win or lose.
Never know going into it. I believe Mascara's debuting the Tristana in this series as well. I mentioned Big China debuting the Mumu. I believe Tristana, this is going to be the time for him in an official match. But still exciting stuff. And then, of course, the Vladimir on the other side. Tarleton haven't played against that or the Zac yet this year. Definitely getting some different looks going into game number 1. Nevertheless, definitely due to be exciting.
Yeah, Vladimir, especially for those of you that don't know, very scary champion if you have a lot of close melee champions. However, Tarleton does have a decent amount of range on them, so they should be able to kite him out. Because if he can just get a few heals off, he can just become a demon. But it's kind of seemed like both teams, whoever snowballs, will definitely have the advantage here. So I think these first 5 minutes of the game are going to be pretty important for both sides.
Highlighting the importance of the early game, both sides heading to match number 1. About 1:20 left on Spectator Lane. And for those of you who aren't aware, the screen will fix itself when we head into the match for whatever reason. When you draft or locking the sums and the runes and all that, it decides to skew itself to the left side. So apologize for that, but it will fix itself.
You know, that League client is just made by a small indie company. They can't help it.
Always giving me trouble. Let the man rest, please.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that they went ahead and went with the Karma instead of Rakan. I mean, Zaya Rakan's just a really common duo. Whenever you pick one, you typically pick the other. So I wonder to see if the Karma will end up being a really good pick for them, or if they made a mistake by not going Rakan.
I wonder if that's for the added lane pressure just from the abilities of Karma, or if that's like also for the kind of like the scaling theme of this composition. Vladimir, Zaya, even Zac, like I said, Yorick, very strong side laner. Wonder what that's gonna look like for them.
Yeah, especially on York, if you can get the triple grubs, I feel like that's going to be one of the more important objectives early on. The previous weeks, we've seen Dragon be one of the more objectives that people fight over. However, I feel like this game, grubbies are going to be pretty deciding on the solo laners.
Here we go. Crossing my fingers as we head into game. Spectator delay done.
Hopefully, hopefully it loads here. Got that black screen. Oh, there we go.
Arguably an important match for both teams. PFU currently sitting at 2-2, Tarleton 3-2, so both teams kind of in the middle of the pack as it relates to NECC standings. I expect both teams to kind of be giving it their all.
Yeah, so George Fox did have their they already had their bye week, so that's why they do have one game less than Tarleton. However, currently Tarleton stands at 4th place overall, but George Fox is right below them at 5th place. So just like you said, it's going to be a really big game here, kind of deciding where they match up and see who will be the top 4 that moves on to playoffs.
0% on the...
I think the previous weeks when this happened, it normally is due to an instant pause from the enemy team. So it could have, maybe someone's having some hardware issues. It's just causing some delays for us in the spectator mode.
At least it gives us an opportunity to look at the cosmetics. A few extras.
Yeah, we got that Vladimir skin, very bold, very nice
Fitting the
little
name
vampire
there
guy.
for the middle. Default skins almost across the board besides the ADC rule for George Fox.
Some quick runes. Looks like Karma went ahead and went with the Summoner Airy. Definitely going to be looking to trade a lot early. Oh, like...
Okay. Launching the client. Spectator. Happens every other week. Nothing new here.
Surely it loads this time.
Ah, the black screen. Come on. Show me some good news. I believe. There we go. That's awesome. Yeah, it did have to do with one of the connects from the enemy team. As we expected here.
Much rather that than unfortunate client bugging out or something like that, not allowing us to watch the game.
A summoner has reconnected.
Alrighty, guys, without further delay, we are heading back into game. George Fox's jungler has rejoined us. Head into it.
Finally gonna see some League of Legends in action.
Like there's always something, and of course my screen is now frozen. I don't know what has prompted it.
Okay, there we go. I was about to say, hopefully it was just trying to catch up with the spectator delay or something like that. Looks like no invades are happening this game. Just a
30 seconds until
typical
minions
little...
spawn.
Oh, except for the bot lane's playing a little aggressive here. Pretty known pretty deep ward. Looks like GFU is just going to play pretty passively, just standing at all their entrances.
Can you transcend mediocrity?
Be exciting to see the level 1 play here from Tarleton.
Minions have
Typically when you
spawned.
have this middle bush, you're trying to look for some early trades or fights happening.
I'll reiterate, since it's been a second, first 5 minutes of this game going to be very crucial for both teams, so depending on how it gets played out, that snowballing potential impact game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Karma actually builds into as well. Kind of like what you're talking about, she can scale, just depending on what item she goes, or she can go full on to early game, just kind of play for laning phase if she wants to go Q max or something. We'll just have to see what they decide to go here. Looks like GFU's respecting the bot lane pretty well here at level 1, standing very far back, just trying to last hits. It's like every other lane is just going in default farming here.
Yeah, not seeing any heavy trading really.
That is the first
Farming
few.
out.
Yeah, the first few waves, everyone's just trying to get their levels. Hopefully see some more action here at level 3. We'll say I haven't really seen Vladimir's too often recently, so I don't really know how he is currently. I assume it's decent in the right scenarios. Are you very aware of Vladimir?
I haven't seen it being picked too often, but I feel like it's still kind of the same champion that you kind of expect. One of those like really like valuable late game champions. Well, as long as you don't fall too behind. Not something I see too often, especially not in these matches. If it ends up working out for Bjorddd in these scenarios. A few Qs connecting for Mr. Gold, but he's going to be drained of his mana. Well, how many of those he's going to be able to apply to work? Lane continues.
Yeah, we've seen Mr. Gold in these downside matchups. Early game, he's still able to play them off very well, which sets him up so he doesn't lose too much later on in the laning phase. Now, York will naturally outscale him, so it's really important just to try and get as many minions as you can this early on. Oh, the first gank of the game. Zach jumping in mid lane. Hits the Q, but Gimmick's able to just get out of the range, so he's not able to really follow up on anything. And Big China's just hovering around bot lane, looking for any engage here, but they can't really find anything.
And he was spotted on vision, so it looks like he's just going to go ahead and opt for his base. In the meantime, Mr. Gold has also gotten him in his first base after pushing the wave. Not a terrible, I would say a neutral start here for Tarleton.
Yeah, so far everyone's just farming up. Now Zach was able to go ahead and get the double scuttle off, so he'll be up a little bit in CS and XP. However, as a Mumu, just a tank champion, doesn't matter too much, as he will always be able to provide that CC in a team fight that you need from him. All the juicy minions. Mr. Gold just charging up that Q and taking out a whole wave. Looks like Zaya was able to take her first back. She went ahead and got the coal, so she's already looking to farm and scale later on. While Tarleton, they haven't reset yet in their bot lane, probably just trying to hold that wave they got going on right now, which has helped them out a little bit, gave them a little bit of CS advantage. Nothing too crazy yet. So far, a lot slower early game than we saw the previous 2 games. I know it was like a bloodbath the past few weeks. It's a big change of pace going into this game.
Yeah, so much to keep track of, I remember, if I do recall. In the meantime, we actually are going to get a gank from Big China. Q does connect. Exhaust from Valdegram will be applied, but it's not quite enough to finish off the kill. That's a good attempt there from Tarleton.
Yeah, trading the exhaust. It looks like they're going to back out of that play. Trading the exhaust for a flash on the AC is always big, though, which is going to allow Mascara to jump in now. Looking to go in, but then Zach's here for the counter gank, and he's taking out Mascara.
Yeah, and the aggressiveness just punished there at the end of it. Mascara's going to get first blooded. First kill going on to the Karma. Meantime, Vladimir will also rotate for the Drake.
Yeah, that play looking good for Tarleton at first, able to get a positive summoner trade. However, Mascara just jumps in a little too deep, and Zach's there to punish him. It's like now we have a 1v1 going on here at top lane. Mr. Gold gets trapped in the wall. Gets chunked to half. York's ults it, but looks like Mr. Gold going and lives here. However, at this point, now that he has the Maiden now, it's going to be very hard for the Scion to play.
I'd argue in the case of York, it's almost like an advantage and disadvantage situation. You have the Maiden, which just makes you almost impossible to all in, but at the same time, it forces you to push every single wave into the turret, so Sion's going to be able to farm. So arguably a little bit of a trade-off there, but it does make the lane pretty difficult for your Sion to play.
Yeah, just like you're saying though, Sion has that good AoE wave clear, but we're going to hold that as Mascara's jumping in bot lane here for another trade. For another fight.
Did hit level 6 here, so he has that level advantage. Going to be forced to flash away though, as Zaya is looking to all in. Pretty heavy trading being done. Meantime, Big China also going to have to flash out of there. Doric was dealing massive amounts of damage. Fortunately for Big China, Zach has arrived on the scene. It is 4-2 use. Take that kill and apply the ultimate onto Mr. Gold. W does connect from Yorick. Mr. Gold is forced to flash, but it looks like he will be able to live this one.
Again, Zach with this counter gank. He's just waiting in the jungle for a Mumu to gank, and then just comes in after they use all their abilities and is able to clean up 2 kills now. It looks like bot lane was able to take some pretty positive fights there, as they're able to force GFU's bot lane to go and take a reset. And it's really dangerous against Tristana, as she can apply her E to the tower, and it can just shred and get a bunch of tower plates for her. Even though they are 2 kills up, the gold deficit is still pretty even, only 200 gold apart. Probably just due to the bot lane having a massive CS lead on Tarleton's end here. Almost 30 CS up now. Besides that, looked like mid lane's going pretty even this game. And Mr. Gold is able to stabilize his top lane. Should be, after getting this whole minion wave, should be pretty equal in CS as well, which is always good to see in that matchup. Like York's gonna opt to base here, able to get his Sheen. Now that does hurt pretty bad on York. His Qs start hitting like a truck, especially with the Maiden passive.
As you mentioned, York killing Scion as you head later in the game. Also worth noting that GFU has been able to secure those first 3 grubs as well as the Dragon. York's actually gonna flash onto Mr. Gold. I don't know if he's able to finish the kill. It doesn't look like it, so that summoner spell is gonna be expended.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what York's game plan there. Maybe he was trying to get his W out, but then just couldn't get it out in time. Since Scion does have that phased rush, just able to proc it and run away. The next dragon should be spawning these next few minutes here. So these jungles, they're both just finishing up their full clears here. And they'll probably look to make a play happen around the map. Tarleton's bot lane's just heading back from base. Mascara being able to outright buy his Youngtel wild arrows, so he's going to be able to get his crits stacking up early on here. Should be able to get a decent amount stacked up before this dragon spawns. You already know those lucky crits can always just change a team fight. But since Zaya went ahead and got her Cole and tier 2 boot, she's going to be sitting on her item for a long time. So Tarleton should be able to have item advantage for this next dragon spawning.
In the meantime, Mr. Gold's continued to clear waves, subbed in by the York.
A lot of pings happening on the spot side of the map. Looks like both teams are seeing each other's jungler and trying to see what they can do here, but no one's wanting to engage and risk anything yet. Mr. Gold still does have TP though, so whenever he needs to back, he can always take a free reset. Oh, looks like a fight's breaking on your bots.
Yeah, here we go. There's the fight. Zach gonna go ahead and ult in. Mascara is gonna be a little bit outnumbered, and he gets bursted down. That's feats of Worth there. Flames for GFU and Valdegrare, and he's gonna try to get away, but he won't be able to. It'll be She-Bear to the flash on him, do the kill. Even the ghost being used by Vladimir. Trying all-in gimmick. Oh, and look at that. Mr. Gold outplays Elijah under turret, gets the kill. In the meantime, gimmick will fall to the Vladimir. A lot of kills happening throughout the map, excuse me, arguably in favor of GFU.
A lot going on there, but since York did not have their flash, he took tower aggro somehow. We're not for sure how. Oh, maybe the Maiden probably. But then Sion's just able to turn around the ultimate, knocking him up, securing the kill. We didn't really get to see much of the bot play happening there, or mid lane. However, I believe just the gank from Zach was just enough, and the amount of CC made it impossible for Mascara to play. But GFU does go ahead and secure their second dragon. And I don't know if we saw it earlier, but they did also get 3 grubbies as well. So far, getting all the early objectives going on to their side.
Will soon fall.
As that Zaya's still waiting to get her first item, so although she was able to pick up a kill earlier, not able to do much with that. Now I got Big China just waiting. However, it looks like GFU's bot lane is just going to be sitting under tower. Not even giving Tarleton a chance to make a play happen. It's like at this point, without Maiden, York just can't 1v1 Scion without her. So he's just able to run him down. Wonder if this will end up in a solo kill or not.
And Mr. Gold, the trades are going heavily in favor of him. Playing that Q, York taking very low. Might be forced to face here in a second. Has a teleport available. In the meantime, Big China, he's made his way into bot lane. The gank is successful.
Oh.
Q lands onto Karma. Shutdown goes to him. That is massive value. Dive attempt not quite working out. Doesn't quite finish. Karma under turret. But nevertheless, a good play coming out here from Tarleton.
Oh, Val's able to stop the base from Karma though. Looks like he's gonna end up taking the kill as well. So they're able to take 2 kills bot lane, and they try sending 3 men top lane to Mr. Gold. However, he gets out of there, not even really taking any lethal damage, staying above his half HP. It's like Tarleton's able to regain a lot of tempo that they lost here now having actually the slightest gold advantage here after taking the first turn as well. Hopefully with those kills, Tarleton will be able to make some more plays happen off of that. I just want to point out, we see, if you look at Zach's items, he went ahead and took Proto Belt. I haven't really seen that built on Zach before. However, I guess his idea is just to try and stay on top of Mascara as long as he can, even if Tristana tries to jump away.
I mentioned during the draft that some Zach players like to go hybrid build and tank. I guess that's what we're seeing here. I'd say Proto Belt, yeah, definitely not as common of an item. You already kind of have that move back from but and additional movement.
Looks like Zach being bot lane allows Tarleton able to secure a free Herald up on this top side. Went ahead and set Val out there too, just to make sure they're able to get it. However, that is going to come at the price of Big China's bot side jungle. However, having that Tristana on the weak side is never too bad though, as she always has her jump away to escape if they try to dive her or anything like that. Has a lot of self-peel. She's able to survive in most situations. So she's able just to get those solo XP, get some catch up in levels and whatnot. I mean, besides that, pretty even game in most of these lanes here. I mean, the biggest CS advantage coming in on jungle and then the ADC role as well. Both have about a 30 CS lead on each side. However, arguably, you would want your ADC to be the most ahead possible, as in this game, it seems like that role is probably going to be the big factor.
Luckily for Tarleton, Mascara sitting at about a 30 CS lead despite being 0-2. Kind of making up some of that gold deficit that you see in the kill department. Shutdowns are sitting on the side of GFE.
I gotta say, Mr. Gold's playing this lane really well. Like we've been talking about before, it's just such a hard lane for the Scion. However, he's keeping up in CS and even outplaying them in a lot of these turns. Just gotta shout out him and all the work he's doing up there. Looks like Mascara's jumping in here, looking for a big trade. He's able to go ahead and chunk Zaya down to a third of her HP, and looks like they're gonna go ahead and spawn the Herald off of it. This might be able to lead to a tier 1 tower, possibly even more.
Tarleton really looking to push the momentum. Patients are coming in from GFU, but should be able to claim tier 1 tower at least. I can pan back to it here in a moment. Get more trading here.
It looks like everyone's trying to set up for this next dragon around here, so you see plenty of pings going down there. However, just a nice little fight going on top side, so well, there we go. We're gonna cut back down.
But he was successful taking out that Eeyore.
Looks like they started the Drake. I don't know if Tarleton's gonna give it or not.
From the looks of it, they will give, and unfortunately for Tarleton, that is going to be third Drake secured already. Minutes. Oh, point.
Yeah, this Hextech Soul is going to be pretty strong, whichever team gets it, as each side has a lot of healing and shielding. So anti-heal is going to be a pretty important item this game for both teams. Although Tarleton's down in objectives, they're still not too far away out of the gold difference here. So all these team fights, they have the potential to go either way really quick. It's going to be very exciting to see what happens at these next few objectives that spawn, because it seems like in between the objectives, both teams aren't really looking to take too many fights. However, knowing York doesn't have Maiden, Mr. Gold's just taking some damage. However, Zach's ganking now. York misses the wall, which should allow Mr. Gold to escape. Oh, it hits a nice knock-up, stopping the Zach mid-air. And yeah, Mr. Gold just survives the 1v2 yet again.
Well played by Mr. Gold. Maneuver his way out of that gank. Doesn't really take too much damage for it either. Maybe more trading yards on it.
See the maiden. She comes.
Oh, but I guess since Zach was topside, I didn't even know they were doing this. Tarleton's going to go ahead and just take the Otacon. They do lose Big China. However, Otacon is just one of those objectives that you don't mind trading one player to get that.
Very nice out of Tarleton, able to go ahead and secure that one. That was action.
Yeah, I was surprised they did it. They probably just did it on spawn, but as I'm saying, Mascara just jumps in. Zaya's taking down to 1 HP. Oh, but she's able to live and get the flash and kill Mascara, leaving Val the Grand to die as well. Oh, such a close play. Where Zaya almost died, however, it's just not enough to finish her off, and it ends up turning worse for Tarleton as they're also, GFU's able to take tier 1 turn mid lane.
Ultimate looking for live, and you see why Zaya is pretty meta here in the ADC role currently. Have those summoners, and you have the get out of jail free card in the ultimate, along with the scaling damage. So many tools at your disposal. Give credit to She-Bear too for staying alive on basically 1 HP. Mascara went for that all-in attempt.
It looks like York's able to pick up a tier 1 top tower as well and fighting Mr. Gold now. Just going back and forth. Looks like he's going to have to run away here. The Maiden and Ghouls are just eating him up at this point. However, Mascara is here, jumping in. They should be able to get... Oh, it looks like a kill goes over Val the Grand. Looks like they're trying to give that to Mascara there. However, the Otacon buff just procced on Val's Q, I believe. It's a good rotation there by Mascara, able to pick up 1 kill on Tarleton's end. However, with all those towers falling and that misplay mid happen, it now puts Tarleton down a 2.6k gold deficit.
Gold looking to decrease that deficit by getting this turret here in top lane, which he will go ahead and finish off. Time Big China's going to off his top side. As the focus really now for Tarleton as we get deeper into this game is going to be denying that soul from GFU.
Yeah, if they're able to secure any dragon from now on, it just gives them an extra 5 minutes every time just to scale up more and continue and fight. So this next dragon is definitely going to be the big focus point, as we see both teams already trying to get some vision laid out, trying to see if they can get anyone caught in the jungle. It's like Karma doesn't... Oh, it looks like she's able to get some vision down. I thought they might catch her out here. Yeah, both teams now are just kind of sitting in the river waiting for something to happen. So far, GFU does have to be a little careful as they don't have any vision on the actual dragon, so they won't know if Tarleton does start it. However, it looks like they are going to go and...
They have their priorities straight. They're going to be grouping around this Drake. Give Mr. Gold the charge.
Red team's turret has been
Being
destroyed.
level 15. They're going to work their way towards the Drake at this point. They're going to go ahead and start it. time York is wasting no time and pushing bot lane. There's a turret. Going to TP out of Mr. Gold. Trying to deny that effort. That looks like he should be able to. I's just going to go ahead and take down that tier. Make his way out of there.
GFU 3 dragons up. They don't mind. Go ahead and let Tarleton get one of them. As York didn't have TP to join up in that fight. And Mr. Gold just being super tanky. GFU just decides to give it up. I mean, the Scion is level 16 compared to some of their, like, Zaya's level 12. So it definitely can be very scary in a fight. Mascara's going to jump in here. Gets the Karma, able to get his W reset. However, Karma does flash away. Looks like they don't want to chase anymore. They're looking around a little bit. However, they just don't want to go too deep. Looks like Tarleton's able to pressure GFU into backing off. Mr. Gold is deep into their jungle. However, with his phase rush, just gets one combo and instantly runs out of there. At this point, for those of you that don't know, as we haven't seen it too much, Tristana, as she levels up, her auto attack range increases. So she's really good scaling that way. As farther in the game, she'll just be able to hit further and further away, which is really good into a lot of the champions that GFU has. A lot of them are either melee or just short range in general. So the further this game goes on, Mascara will become a bigger and bigger problem. As he is also working towards his LDR. Once he finishes that, he should be able to shred through Zach and York and the other members of GFU. Looks like some lane rotations are happening on Tarleton's end. I wonder if this Yorick will be able to get this tier 2 bot lane. He does shred towers, so he might be able to get it before Sion gets there. However, Mr. Gold might use the ultimate? Yes, he is. And committing the ultimate to stop them from getting the tower. Looks like Tarleton's going to go ahead and look to do something here bot side. Although, looks like it all just fizzles out in the end, and everyone just kind of backs off and returns back to their lanes to farm. We'll say the Zac is slowly building a pretty big CS advantage here in the jungle. However, it doesn't matter too much as both the junglers have finished their smite. They both have the 1200 smite. Always good. Besides that, everyone else is just kind of chilling, building up to their third items here. Just kind of waiting for this next dragon to spawn. It's either going to be GFU looking for their soul, or possibly just giving up another dragon since they could do that. However, it looks like that silence makes it so Vlad can't use his pool, or they're just not able to do really much damage to him. They all kind of back out. Looks like on GFU's end, they got 3 different people with anti-heal. Kind of like I talked about earlier, anti-heal is going to be very big this game. And on Tarleton's end, we got the jungle and top laner that has it as well. So both teams well aware that this Chemtech Dragon is definitely going to be making a big difference this game. Already on top of the crazy healing both teams have. It's like Elijah was trying to steal the blue buff here. However, Big China spots it as well. He does have smite, so he should be able to secure it for sure. Oh, the Shaman comes in. Big China landing the Q. Just able to burst down Elijah. He does flash, but it's just not enough to get away from Mascara. It allows him to pick up a kill. Now, GFU is all on the bot side of the map. They just aren't able to help him out at all. And he's just a little too deep in the jungle. Ends up falling. Finally, a kill on the Mascara, though. Allows him to finish his LDR here, as we see Mr. Gold TPing in. Looks like Tarleton's trying to make a play happen here while York's down. And Mr. Gold just running into their backline, going and knocking up the Zaya and the Zac. Already taking her down to half HP and using her ultimate. Orianna ults hit the Karma. Going in, Vladimir is getting shot down. Looks like everyone's on Gimmick though. It looks like he's going to be the first to fall. As Mr. Gold's still just terrorizing the backline, forcing apart GFU. In the meantime, it looks like Tarleton's backline is going to fall to GFU's Vladimir. Man, this fight's crazy. It's going back and forth. Mr. Gold, the first one to start that fight, causing this massive disruption. Able to pick out 2 of them. However, Tarleton's just not able to handle the Vladimir and Zac diving into them. So it looks like they're going to fall 2-4 here. And GFU's able to get their Dragon Soul. At first, looking like a really good fight for Tarleton with Mr. Gold in the back line and causing such chaos. However, ends up quite being the opposite, as they're able to take advantage, I guess, without having their frontline tank. As Tristana is just not able to get her damage out, as she just gets one-shot by the Vladimir. Oh, in the meantime, looks like they're going to start Baron here. I don't think Tarleton is aware of this. But they might just be able to sneak this Baron for free. It's like Mascara and Val are walking up, kind of thinking something might be happening. However, now that they know it's gone, looks like they're just going to go and back out. So now with Kentek Soul, GFU's comp is going to be very scary with their heals and shields. Tarleton's going to have to play these fights very slow and just try and figure out what they can do, whether that be front to back or another dive like they did earlier. However, Elder, if you're able to win that coin flip and able to steal that dragon, that can always be game-changing. As if you can take them down to 25% HP, you'll just one-shot them. I don't think we've seen an Elder Dragon yet this semester be taken by either team, so this is going to be interesting to see if the game goes on long enough to see who's able to secure that. Looks like the Vladimir at this point is just running laps around Sion, going to force Mr. Gold to ult away. So far, GFU is trying to siege with their Baron buffs here.
Some of these faces.
York's going to be the first to take this bot tower. As a fight's breaking out here in the mid lane, Big China's going to send the ultimate. Tristana's auto-attacking. However, this Zac is just disrupting the back line. Big China's trying to make it out alive. However, Vladimir's just coming in and finishing up these kills. Big China and Val the Grand fall, as well as their tier 2 and now tier 3. GFU might be looking to make their end push here. They do have the Baron minion. They have plenty of waves of minions here. It's like Mr. Gold gets caught now, trapped in the circle. However, Gimmick does land a 3-man ultimate, knocking a lot of them low. However, it's not enough. Mr. Gold does die. However, with the Scion passive, might be trying to look for anything. At this point, it's up to Mascara and Gimmick to try and hold off the base. The Gimmick gets hit by the knockup. Looks like he falls as well. Mascara's trying to make a last-ditch effort, and he falls as well. Looks like GFU is going to take game 1 of the series. We'll say this is Fearless, so you're not going to see any of these champions game 2, as you guys should be aware by now. So we're going to see both different comps coming out on each end. So far, GFU, a very close game throughout most of it. However, GFU is able to secure so many objectives that eventually just ends to the downfall of Tarleton. Alrighty, going on into game 2 here. Looks like we got the draft going on both sides here. Now, I'm not for sure if Bjorddd had to step away for a moment, so I don't know if he's been talking to you guys or not. However, now that I'm back, I guess I'll just go ahead and yap to you guys about the draft. So on Tarleton's end, we got the Draven Leona, a very dangerous bot lane early on. Draven just loves, he just has that massive damage. So you're going to see him probably just trying to start a lot of these early fights. As we saw last game, GFU's game plan looks like to play safe as possible and just try to build up small victories and ultimately stack up a lot of objectives to end up winning the game. So it looks like Tarleton's probably trying to shake it up a little bit with this more aggressive comp here. A lot of CC, a lot of engage, a lot of diving potential. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. Where GFU does still have some pretty solid champions that we've seen before. If you're keeping up with Worlds at all, you know Cassante, Jax, Inara, we've seen them all before. Aurora as well. Very common champions that you see in competitive setting, as they all just have that AoE and burst damage to live. Our Big China's also debuting on a new champion, another new jungle champion, Rammus this time around. Very good into auto attackers, as his W reflects, I believe, 40% of the damage that is dealt to him. Now, I'm not sure on that exact number, but it's basically just like a upgraded Thornmail. So that's always very nice into Jax and Yanara. Looks like we'll be seeing the Jax jungle again. We did see that a few weeks ago. Tarleton played into it. So a lot of these picks should be pretty familiar with Tarleton now after playing against it a couple of times. So we'll be able to see how they react.
All right, hello.
Oh yes, welcome back.
Apologize for that. Back here.
All good, all good.
Jordan having already previously played against Ajax in one of the matches. I'm interested to see how they block that one yet.
Yeah, it's kind of funny seeing all these Jax jungles. I mean, we saw it this week now and also in the previous series, I believe. It's not something you normally see at top lane. However, I guess these teams just like shaking it up a little bit, putting the jungle, just having a jungler that can just farm up and scale up into these later fights. However, like I was talking about, I don't know if you're here or not, Tarleton do have a very aggressive early comp this game around, as they do have the Draven Leona bot lane, one of the most deadly bot lanes, some might say, as the early damage they have.
Jax, one of those champions, like you said, normally playing top, has pushed his way better recently after the buffs. Jungle. Strong pick. GFU are able to make use of that. But here we go, heading into game number 2. Age doesn't really look like as now is kind of spread out. Active air.
30 seconds until minions.
Yeah, we got Gimmick on the classic Mel pick. We've seen him pick it quite a few times now. It's very comfortable on this champion. It typically has a lot of potential and usage coming out of it, as it's just able to pump out a lot of damage in these team fights. And just turning them around, especially the execute potential. Just a lot of execute potential on Tarleton's end is Draven's ultimate, as he builds up his stacks, his ultimate execute gets bigger and bigger as well. So at some point, if this game goes on like last game where they're just farming for a long time, Draven will just be able to build up a really killer ultimate and be able to cash in on a bunch of gold. However, on that flip side, if GFU is able to kill Mascara before he's able to cash in, definitely hurt the Draven's pockets a lot.
Here you go, laning phase has begun. Advantage of this phase.
Looks like same as last game and all the other games, just kind of chill laning phase. GFU's respecting Tarleton a lot here in the bot lane again, just sitting back and just trying to stay in XP range. Even try warding the bush, however Tarleton's able to instantly kill it. It's very important as Leona loves to camp bushes, so you typically want to try and have vision there as much as possible. Ooh, looks like a lot of trading going on here mid lane. Both the mid laners chunking each other about the same amount of HP. Both of them going to use their first potions of the game. It looks like Gimmick's just coming out barely on top here in the trade. However, with this Electrocute Aurora, she can always just do a massive burst combo if she can just hit her Q and E at the same time.
I kind of experienced some of that first damage and first when I was getting picked in the top lane. On one, especially with the aggressive setup this ulti is running in this instance. The Ignite Flash, midline into Gimmick. Expect some of that off early game.
We'll say again, both the junglers in both these games are pathing towards bot side. Just trying to, they know that that's where the most action's probably going to be happening around. Looks like both of them are going to fight for this bot scuttle as well. It's like Tarleton's understanding that Jax could be there, so they're probably playing a little safer here. Looks like Rammus is the first one to go to the scuttle. See what happens here. It looks like Jax is going to go ahead and go for the gank. Tarleton's aware of this as they try to back out. The camera's just sticking on mid lane as Gimmick's trying to go for a solo kill, and he does get it. So I guess the camera was right at all about staying mid lane there, as able to see Gimmick pull off a 1v1.
Even Aurora expending the flash, and from how it appears, down double the CS as well. Gimmick with an excellent start here going into game 2.
Interesting buy there.
On the mill.
Yeah, Gimmick's very comfortable on that champion, and Aurora goes and take the Dark Seal after going down a kill and 16 CS there. Not something you normally see, as we've seen this happen before, where it ends up just becoming a useless item. You can't do anything with it. But man, I thought a lot was going to happen down there bot lane for a second as the Jax ganked, but it looks like everyone just backed out and played safe. But yeah, Gimmick able to pull out a clutch early first blood. Ooh, looks like miss. With like Asante damage. It's like they chunk each other. Jax is here to clean up. So Mr. Gold is probably going to be forced to flash. Jax does have flash as well. Oh, he flips him into the taunt. Mr. Gold stays alive from the taunt from Big China. However, it looks like Cassante is going to flash after him and get a kill.
Gotta give credit to Elijah, still able to convert that kill after Mr. flashes away from the gank of Dax. Big China not quite having the damage to finish that one off and trade it out. So now on the kills, we're looking at 1-for-1 in Tarleton and GF.
Really big battle going on here. Gimmick able to hit a good W, reflecting back Aurora's Q, which allows her not to be able to get that electrocute off. She's just forced to go behind her tower as she's now at half HP while Gimmick's just sitting here full.
Nice timely reflect. You gotta remember, Gimmick still has that execute potential now that the ult is available, hitting level 6. One's gonna have to be aware of that as this lane continues.
Saw this happen last game. GFU's their bot lane takes an early reset just to heal up on their HP and mana, while Tarleton goes ahead and set up a massive wave. As a fight breaks out here in the top lane, Cassante already has ultimate. It's like he might be able to take out Mr. Gold here, as he does.
Successful all in. Mr. Gold falls to over. Some snowballing happening here from the Cassante in top lane.
Just getting that early kill allowed him to get that level 6 before Mr. Gold could. Just allows him to take over.
Elijah wasting no time Timer to advantage. Credit. Kill will eats GFU up there to that one. Carlton needing 2. Their direction.
It's like a fight's breaking out here mid lane. Big China with that one knock-up allows Gimmick just to land a massive combo into Aurora. Again, forcing her to be half HP. It feels like she's always just playing on that back foot here. Gimmick just holding control of this mid lane. It's like Carlton stopping his back. They know where Jax is, so they're just able to go ahead and start this first dragon. first Drake in a while that we've seen Tarleton able to get here. Already able to start it off strong with an Infertile Drake. Like Elijah's fighting again here in the top lane, having a pretty positive trade right now. As Val gets hooked. However, as Leona just presses W and is able to walk away.
Mr. Gold unfortunately doesn't get caught by the Cassante Q. That is a 3rd kill for Elijah, who has really pushed his lead here in the top lane.
At this point, Cassante is able to get the feats all on his own as well. Which in that, looks like Val gets hooked again. However, there's not able to do much as this Draven is just able to hold them back. He does have a BF sword, so it's very strong. Looks like Jax is able to secure the first 3 grubs as well. Big China gets there, but just not in time to smite one at all, it seems.
China's goal was meantime, Valdecare is going to be all in, but he does hit the level 6. That's going to be applied in Mascara. He's putting on the pressure. Skippy She-Beard's target. He forced to flash out of there, Mascara. He's going to continue to auto away with this Draven. Players are left on such low HP. Like he forced a recall. Nice attempt. Mascara also expend both of these sums for support and ADC.
Started out with Val getting hooked there. However, they're just able to flip it around. And like you said, get all the summoners on GFU's bot lane, as well as potentially a tower plate here as well. This Draven's just going to continue to get stronger and stronger, and he's able to cash out because he must have plenty of stacks on his passive by now. He should be just looking for the next kill. I should probably give him around almost 3 to 4 kills worth. Like Jax is going to gank Mr. Goldie up here in the top lane. However, he's able to dash away in time. Looks like he's able to get out without even having to lose any HP.
Action that time from Mr. Ashes from the Cassante. Getting caught by the CC combo.
Say last game is a lot different. We got to see a big CS lead in bot lane. However, it's now shifted to mid lane with Gimmick being up 30 CS now. He's just having a lot more control in this matchup, it seems, with the Mel versus Aurora.
Important WinCon's going for it here for Carlton. Match things to go on.
Looks like Big China's been hovering here in the bot side, potentially looking for a gank as they know that GFU has no summoners.
Kind of waiting his time. Change to land a single taunt. Mascara can pick it off. Players. Oh, he's been spotted as of yet. He's just kind of remaining that tri-bush. And there he goes. Now he makes the move. Fresh might be the first target. Mascara getting the first kill, and She-Bear is going to be the next one. Double kill for Mascara. By the time Jax arrived, it might be too late. Aurora has actually made her way down here as well. Big China's going to be forced to flash out Val the Grand. Taking a bit of damage, but I don't think if you have enough. That's 2 kills for 0 in favor of Carlton. Or I say for 0. I didn't see when Mascara went down, but he did for at some point in that fight.
Although it is 2 for 1. This Draven's able to cash out on his passive. It looks like Gimmick flashed forward, however, it's like it was probably possibly too aggressive as Jax is there to counter gank it. Looks like he's just going to be able to walk out in the end. As I was saying, Draven was able to cash out on his passive, which allows him to buy his Bloodthirster instantly on that base, as well as a Dirk. So he probably, although he got 2 kills, it's probably more like 4 to 5. So if you don't know, whenever Draven throws his axes and catches them, it stacks up his passive, and if he's able to get a kill, all of that passive turns into gold. So it's probably a decent amount's worth that he's able to get. See, they go and do a lane swap here. Scare probably just taking over mid lane while Mel covered bot lane.
Transition into the big game. Oh, and they're looking to punish this mid laner's Aurora, probably taking heavy amounts of damage from Mascara. Off of the lane swap. Meantime, Elijah gonna looks Mr. Gold through the wall, and he's gonna get all in. He's on a rampage, just absolutely destroys him, and that's could have something to do with the Iceborne being fully complete.
During this meantime, though, now that Mascara has a huge lead, looks like Tarleton's going to go and try and secure their second dragon. It's almost given up on the top side of the map here and just putting all their effort into this bot side. In the meantime, Jax is going to go and take Big China's top farm, just trying to secure gold if they can't secure the objective. So far, almost just seeing a flip from last game, Tarleton with these objectives. It's getting these first 2 dragons. So we'll now see that Cloud Soul will be the dragon of the map. Cloud Soul is going to be very good for either team, as whenever you use your ultimate, it gives you a big burst of movement speed. As I'm saying that, looks like Mr. Gold's going to get ganked in the top side here. He uses his flash trying to escape. However, the CC is just not enough to escape from, and he falls again. Mr. Gold having a really rough game this one, 0-5 now.
Tough game for him. As Cassante claims his 5th kill of the map by the Jax. Combination from Cassante and Jax being very lethal. Ares Mascara is actually getting caught by that Q. Ultimate's going to be used by Thresh, but it doesn't seem like it's gotten a catch onto either one of these players. If anything, it's almost baited them in to try and fight. Mascara seems more than willing to go in. Both flashes going to be removed. Oh.
Looks like Mel rotated down for this play as well. Looks like they're going to be able to at least catch the Thresh here, as Gimmick does secure a kill from this roam. We've been talking about it. They're just setting up as much as they can for their bot lane here, trying to make sure everything goes right as they can. And GFU's reaction to this is going to go ahead and send their big Giga Tank Cassante down in bot lane.
And he's a bit of a raid boss at this point in the game. We'll see if Mascara is able to get out of there. Valdegram might even be willing to sacrifice himself for it. Looks like the exhaust is going to be applied. Should be more than enough to get them out of dodge. How long Mascara is going to be wanting to stick around in this lane. Outfed this Cassante, having multiple armor items complete.
Probably trying to look for his reset soon. Looks like they were trying to get that bot tower. However, with the Mel roaming, it just allowed Aurora to be able to shove in her wave, and with the 3 grubbies, just be able to get the first or the first tower. Actually, it looks like top lane tower fell. My bad. It looks like it wasn't first tower at all, so I guess it wasn't that much of a loss for Tarleton. Looks like we are looking for... Is it just the 3rd objective of the game to secure the feats for either team?
That's what it seems, and finally Tarleton's bot lane is going to elect to confirm this reset. Said that, but Mascara did go ahead and cancel it. When they're both going to get caught by the CC chain, Cassante is doing massive amounts of damage. Valdegrand's going to be forced to flash.
That Cassante champion just so tanky, but deals so much damage, just so scary. You have to really watch out for him.
Yeah,
at this point, it looks like
Cassante, minute 16.
Looks like we do have a small fight breaking out here on the top side. Jax is going to counter gank it, where it looks like Rammus should be able to get out. Mr. Gold is just gonna get left behind.
Nightmare continues for Mr. Gold as he gets taken down by She-Bear. Dax once again not leaving him alone, but might be a potential trade out as Gimmick on a killing spree, taking out the Aurora. Tarleton still goes 1 for 1. Gimmick canceling the bases of both of these two players as well. Overall, not the worst result.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Bjorddd has to be worth not that much gold. He's now 0 and 6, so definitely a positive gold trade out for Tarleton there. Looks like this time they're going to go ahead and send their bot lane, mid lane, as we see happen often in these type of games. However, Gimmick, yeah, able to pick up that kill. So far, we'll see that this Rammus value on Tarleton's end, these taunts just allow so much potential for teamfights to break out as they just lock down the enemy long enough for either Gimmick or Mascara just to pump out their whole combo onto them. Looks like a lot of shenanigans are happening in the jungle. They do spot the Jax and the Thresh. Rammus is going to go in. However, Thresh is on the wrong side as Gimmick's just right there, and Mascara's able to finish him off. Just continually be able to cash out his passive. Looks like Big China's going to ult in.
Tarleton, they're going to continue to chase. Elijah, being as tanky as he is, going to look to fight this one, but Mascara takes out the ADC. See if Tarleton has enough damage for this Cassante. Seems like the bit of a problem. Baldy eliminates Big China. Follow-up play onto Mr. Gold comes from Elijah. I think that might be all she wrote for this one. They go 2 for 2.
It looks like in these team fights, they're just trying to do everything they can around the Cassante, just not able to walk up to him at all. However, Gimmick able to land a combo in his ultimate, finishing off Elijah. Massive kill, even though he flashes, he's still able to knock him out. It should be able to help Tarleton set up for this third dragon for their soul points.
I believe that shutdown might have been worth nearly about 700 gold onto the Cassante, so Gimmick being solo AP on Tarleton's side, getting a massive advantage off of that kill. Yeah, maybe even third Drake even for Tarleton.
Looks like GFU doesn't want to give it up though, as they're all starting to head around it, trying to see if they can poke their way into this dragon fight. Tarleton knows they're backing out, playing them around. We do see the Bjorddd TP happening in the flank. Looks like GFU is going to go and choose to go for Mr. Gold. However, he knows he's like the sacrificial goat here, as they're able to secure the dragon. And yet they do. Big China does get the dragon. Val falls as well, though. However, it looks like Tarleton's happy with that.
But put yourself on soul point. It's not exactly the worst scenario, to argue. I mean, Mr. Gold just absolutely exploding. I've been saying throughout this game, Nightmare kind of continues for him as he falls to 0-8. But to get that Drake for your team, very important. The game has progressed.
Red team's turret.
Mr. Gold doing the hero play, sacrificing his KDA, but securing his team soul point. Gotta respect it.
If you're trying to push their advantage, Big China, he's just gone in. Along with Mascara, let's see if they have the damage for this one. She-Bear's taking down the pretty low HP. Looks like both teams are going to get out of there at no cost to them.
Yeah, whenever the Cassante is there, they really have to respect it and just back off. However, they're able to get some decent poke on the Yanara, like you were talking about, just showing this Draven. There's just like 2 axes as well. Just getting very strong with these items. He's looking to finish his Infinity Edge here.
Caught by this combo from Elijah, but Gimmick has arrived. It's going to be that extra source of damage. Dante, as you can see in his build, is being forced to build some magic resist. Game continues. Obviously, Gimmick
After last fight.
Threat.
Yeah, exactly. He fell down to Gimmick the last fight, so he's like, not again. So far, Tarleton able to put all their gold onto the champions that they want to on Mel and Draven. Both very strong to get it there. Looks like the Otacon's going to be spawning here on the bot side. And with Draven top, GFU is going to look to try and start it.
Kind of steals things out of Big China. Gimmick's kind of hovering around in this area as well. It looks like Otacon nearing about 4k HP now. Here comes the attempt from Tarleton. Big China, he's worked his way in. Doesn't get the steal. But let's see what the fight looks like. I don't know if we're going to be getting too much out of Tarleton. Big China goes ahead and falls to the Nara. Seems the play might be on Elijah from Mascara and Mr. Gold. Wisely, they choose to back off and respect this Conte did.
Big China went in there trying to secure that Otacon. However, they just had enough people on GFU's side that they weren't able to do anything about it. Almost the exact opposite of last game, as we saw when Tarleton was down 3 dragons, they were able to secure their Otacon. Now it's the exact opposite this game. But so far, both teams just slowly building up their items. To say there has become a decent CS advantage of both the mid and ADC, more than a 30 CS gap for each of them respectively on Tarleton's end. However, Mr. Gold, top lane, struggling with his 40 CS gap between him and Cassante. Of course, Cassante also has these 6 kills, just allowing him to be this mega tank. I don't think Tarleton can really do anything about it until they get LDR on Draven or just some more damage on the Mel.
Honestly, definitely make it packed in. Fights are coming up here shortly, especially with Soul Point being available for Tarleton.
You gotta say, in these 5v5 so far, they've been looking pretty clean with Tarleton set up, a lot of single target priority here. So if they're just able to get the right pick on the right person, I think these fights should turn out in their favor. Precious.
Time it for a second, but having no trouble taking out that.
Looks like Big China's gonna go ahead and go in again, kind of putting some constant pressure around the map. As this Rammus pick is just able to move around at Mach 10, just kind of going to whichever lane he wants to. It's like as this next dragon spawning.
Here's the fight. China, he's gonna be the aggressor. And Gimmick, unstoppable, taken out there almost instantly. Exhaust is gonna be applied onto 4-2. He's gonna be forced to flash. Baldy going in with the ultimate. Team fight is not done yet. Baldy able to find anything else here. Gimmick dominating, takes out another one. Aldegaren's doing his best to tank. The Cassantes arrived on the scene. Kind of the danger player for GFU. I think Valdegran will fall. Ultimately, it is 2-for-1 in favor of Tarleton. Soul spot in.
Now
They end up going for this one.
Thresh has respawned, so he's trying to run quickly to the Soul as fast as possible. Gimmick goes and takes the reset. He does have TP though. Or it looks like Tarleton, they might either just give it or they're just trying to slow play it. Big China starting to go in now. Oh, he just gets one shot though.
Gold also going to be in danger. Drake falls. He will go down to the Aurora as well. It's a double kill for her. All the eliminates do. If you are successful in stalling out this game for longer, and they're also going to make a play on the Baron being up numbers.
Yeah, Tarleton's able to win the fight. However, it looks like they're going to lose both objectives in the end for it though. Unless they're able to do something here on the Baron. However, with the Draven mid lane, looks like they're just going to go and have to give it up here. So far in all these fights, this Cassante you're talking about, he is just the danger on GFU's side. They can't even really do much damage about it. He's just able to soak it all up.
Compare the items. You look at the 3 comparison to the 1, as well as a 2-level gap for Elijah over Mr. Gold. Really makes these team fights a little more difficult to play out. L is also nearing 3 items on Gimmick. Have that additional AP damage. Try and make an impact for yourself. The game's not completely out of hand for either team. Still have a few win conditions.
Yeah, like after this fight, Draven's now finally able to clean his Infinity Edge. He was looking to finish that for a while now. So that damage could just be what Tarleton needs to flip these fights around. Big China's going to this top side, looking for the Cassante. However, Cassante finds him first, but then taunts him and runs away, it seems. As that looks like GFU slowly sieging with their Baron minions here. However, they're not able to put too much pressure, as they do have to respect the Ramus coming out wherever he decides to come from. Well, it looks like Big China is able to go ahead and get a quick taunt onto the Aurora. Fight breaking out.
Cool. Doesn't want to take any chances. Flashes out of there, but it seems like he's going to be caught anyway. T-Bear takes him out.
He does get the Aurora ultimate, which might help them in this next fight.
Not a chance. Mascara gets caught by the CC from Jax. Valdegrand going to do his best to save him, but it's not enough. GFU, they're really looking to push their advantage. Uses Baron buff. Valdegrand will fall as well. They're on a killing spree. Gimmick looks to punish Jax, and he will. The more gold going on to the Mel, but ultimately, I'd say this is in favor of GFU as they're able to push this wave. Tier 3. His inhibitor. Big doing his best to poke away.
Red team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
Inhibitor
Saw
has
this-
fallen.
We saw this last game, GFU just able to make a lot happen with this Baron buff. Able to end off the last game, but this game looks like they're just able to open up these inhibitors, allowing themselves to possibly set up for this next dragon spawn. Trying to look for their second dragon.
Coming in here in the next minute and a half. Now, unfortunately for Tarleton, they're kind of in a level deficit in multiple lanes now. Even Gimmick is sits at 7-0, down a level to Bjorddd. Barrett down a couple levels. Makes his team fights a bit more challenging.
Has to be attributed to the Otacon, as those flowers, they add up, giving you XP and adaptive force. The Otacon just secures a bunch of them for you around the map. So that could be worth almost a level on its own.
And so this Big's gonna be next point of focus for Tarleton. Still sitting on Soul Point, they're able to somehow their way onto the see what it ends up looking like, but the lead definitely in favor of GFU as you're looking at about 7K.
Receive your fate.
Spawning in within a minute now.
Tarleton might just go ahead and give it up, as they have a bunch of minions in their base. They don't really have any wards to set up for it. Unless they try to look for a fight to happen here. Besides that, it looks like they're just going to go ahead and sit back and farm up.
Dante's gonna be a problem throughout the remainder of this game. He's now level 17. 3 items, pretty close to 4, I imagine. It looks like he's building Jacksha. Going to be a struggle from here on out. Essentially impossible to burst. Can't really focus him. All your damage won't do you any good. Gimmick able to apply a lot of damage onto that Aurora. Gets the shutdown. So that's a massive start here for Tarleton in this team fight. So Elijah, he's going to be the problem. Looks to dive them under turret. Players chunked pretty low. Tarleton continuing to poke away. Gimmick landing himself yet another shutdown. He's up to 9-0. Fight looks pretty good for Tarleton. They get a third catch. Mascara gets the kill. 3-0 in favor of Tarleton. That is exactly what they needed.
Yeah, that's the exact fight that you'd want to happen there. They're able to just play it very slow and just not give them any breaks, as Gimmick's just hitting them from a mile away. And the chain CC coming out from the Valdegrand's ultimate there, and the CC from Big China, everything just lining up perfectly. Allows Tarleton to kill 3 of them without losing a single member.
After securing 2 more shutdowns, I'd imagine Gimmick's close to his 4th item. Like he might be waiting out the gold for it.
It looks like Baldy went ahead and went for the Magi's as well. However, after that fight, knocks it down to 0 stacks on it, making it a useless item once again.
And I mean, look at this play. You have 10 stacks on Darksteel as well as 4 items. Going to be an absolute powerhouse for the rest of this map. Try and carry Tarleton. Running away with it. In the meantime, GFU, they wasted no time. They're going to go and start the Baron. Dante kind of zoning these players off from it. And GFU are able to get the finish for China. Might be looking for the steal. Going to go and hop in there. He's going to get bursted. Yeah, he's taken out lightly early in Gimmick. Also going to be forced to use his flash. Gets the elimination. Wow, double kill for Gimmick. Finally goes down though. Called 11-0 start. Eventually gets eliminated.
However, since he is able to kill off the Aurora and the Thresh, at least takes down 2 of the Baron buffs on GFU's side. It looks like they might be trying to look for an ending push while Gimmick is dead here. The Yunara does have no ultimate, and Jax is very low. So it looks like they might just try and look for this inhib and potentially back out afterwards. Like GFU is going to go and respect it.
I don't seem too interested in going for that third inhibitor, not wanting to risk any more shutdowns. Going on back in. Under a couple minutes.
I gotta say, Gimmick now is able to finish his death cap. Definitely a big power spike. I mean, we already saw it taken to action here as he's able just to hit a few abilities and instantly kill 2 of GFU's members. Got to see if Tarleton does want to try and fight this next dragon or give it up as well. Whatever they choose to do here, it looks like it's going to rely heavily on Gimmick and Mascara's play in this next fight.
Arguably have the tankiness to kind of around these 2 carries. Mascara 4 items, Gimmick 4 items. Rammus and Leona. Not easy to take down in one burst.
And Leona does have that Knight's Vow and Locket as well. Just hopefully able to reduce as much damage from that Aurora, and Yunara diving in onto Mascara, just trying to keep him alive. But he has finished his LDR, and he does have another cloak, so he is sitting about 90% crit. Definitely a very strong moment for an ADC, especially on a champion like Draven. GFU's just trying to play it cool and slow up until this next dragon spawns. Looks like Mascara's going in on this Jax here. He has no one to jump to, since he is able to get out with the Yunara's help. But the bot inhibitor did respawn, leaving only the mid inhibitor down for Tarleton, which might allow them to be able to leave their base for a moment.
I believe the break should be under a minute. It's actually spawned in right now. Tarleton looks to make any kind of play on it, or if both teams will reach show point. Here's both teams are going to reach show point. He needs to grow in intensity.
At this point, it looks like Tarleton's just trying to farm as long as possible and just try and get as many items and hopefully just try to win one team fight and turn it all around from there. So far, they've been able to hold out and turtle through that second Baron buff, just not being able to. GFU's wasn't really able to do anything with it besides take that mid inhibitor. Probably due to Gimmick's play after killing both the Aurora and Thresh. I gotta say, in the past 4 fights, Gimmick's just almost able to instantly take out Bjorddd, which makes it really hard for GFU to engage, as it seems like Aurora is one of their main initiators with their team comp. Tarleton does also have to be aware that Yunara is also on her 4-item power spike. She's also a very hyper-scaling late-game champion, so do have to be aware of her. However, at this point, Draven might be able to almost 3-shot her with some axes. we're just gonna have to see.
Be interesting to see how these team fights play out. As there's obviously some carries for both sides. Thinking this will be Conte's almost reached full build. There, but those how fights playing out. Coming through 3 minutes on to decide Soul on the Baron.
Yeah, I've seen GFU on these past few objectives. They look to almost instantly start these Barons and Dragons, so Tarleton has to be aware that as soon as this Baron comes up, GFU is probably just going to try and take it. Looks like everyone's kind of hovering around mid lane, except for the top laners just kind of on the side soloing. Again, no one really wants to fight right now. Everyone's just kind of playing safe and reserved. It's like Gimmick is full build now as well, so that's why he's probably just giving that top wave up to Big China. He does have that Void Staff, which should allow him some magic penetration onto that Cassante. This Baron is spawning any second now. Looks like GFU is going to go ahead and go start it up on spawn. And Tarleton, they're still in base, so it looks like they'll probably just go ahead and give it up. Or not. Looks like they're potentially looking to go in there just to see if they make it in time or not.
There we go. It's been started. Big China's going to work his way into the pit to try and get another steal, but it is unsuccessful. Gimmick, he's arrived on the scene. Mascara getting first blood. She-Bear trades it out into Big China. Double kill for the Yunara. Oh, but Gimmick responds with a double kill of his own. Root connects. Triple for Gimmick. Massive value out of the Mel. Meantime, a 1v1 happening between Elijah and Mr. Gold. Elijah's going to be forced to respect as Gimmick and Mascara have been able to base. So, although getting the Baron, GFU, Gimmick really just showing off his strength in his team fights throughout the remainder of the game. He's full build.
And Mascara are able to have Happy Feet there, be able to barely survive out of Baldy's reach there. This might be able to help Tarleton set up for this next dragon spawning up in a minute, leaving only Elijah with this Baron buff. Although Big Giant wasn't able to secure it, it is only the Cassante that has it now. Yeah, Gimmick in these fights. Seems like he is the biggest factor. His ultimate just almost one-shotting the entirety of GFU.
That's ridiculous. Power spike, 5 item L. Hitting any of these squishy champions.
Also allows Mascara to finish out his full build. We're seeing a lot of members on each team getting close to finishing out their final item as well. This game's just coming down to a last fight or two from away from a game.
Go. Yeah, full 5 versus 5. This could potentially determine the game as Soul is spawning in here soon.
Slowly approaching this bush.
Getting a fight in the tri-bush. Mr. Gold, he's going to get caught by the hook. He's immediately eliminated. Big China looking for the follow-up. But he is forced to get out of there. Mascara is going to catch the Jax, picking out Youth. Baldy also eliminated by Gimmick. It's a big fight for Tarleton. Shutdown onto the Cassante.
Elijah's perma CC'd, and he just can't even ult or flash or do anything. And he falls. Tarleton wins the fight with only losing Mr. Gold. Insane play. Gimmick and Mascara are just putting this game on their back with Val and Big China as their front line.
Now that is Cloud Soul in their possession.
It takes 3 dragons, but eventually they're finally able to get it.
And it's crazy, you look at the map, not a single turret that's been secured from Tarleton, yet the gold lead is only within 2k. And off the backs of Gimmick and Mascara's damage, these team fights are looking absolutely ridiculous. GFU, they might struggle as this one goes on. I mean, just look at that. Mascara on a rampage, just completely one-shotting She-Bear. Yunara's taken off the board. Just ridiculous. How the
Yeah,
Grim's
Yunara's
gonna take
full
the turret.
build. But like I said, it just takes 3 axes from Draven. And he just gets one shots.
Blue team's
Without Yunara, it looks like Tarleton might continue to do their siege here. They do have Melon Mascara able to pump out a lot of damage. However, it looks like they are just gonna back out instead.
I mean, if I'm
Like you're
GFU,
talking about.
I'd get concerned. I mean, really. You pulled
Yeah,
yourself
the game
pretty
being in
far
your hands.
front, and the game is completely turned on its head. The back of the mid lane and ADC.
Like you're talking about that gold difference is actually evened up, and now 100 gold on Tarleton's end. A very crazy turn of events here. It looks like the minion waves are kind of just citing a little bit of difference, but yeah, so far able to even up the gold difference after this long game. But both sides are just continuing to farm. GFU not really sure what to do here, as every fight that they've been taking recently has just gone terribly wrong for them. They have to find a way to get onto Gimmick right now, as he just... Oh, it looks like in the end, Val is able to catch the Aurora, going on to her. However, she's able to escape with Thresh Lantern, but Gimmick does not allow that, as he ults and instantly kills Baldy. She thought she got out.
Also worth noting, Mascara has sold his boots. Hey.
Oh, yeah, that is very...
Impact.
Very important. Yeah, on the GFU side, they're probably going to keep their boots, as they do have the tier 3 boots from the Feats of Warfare. However, Gimmick, or sorry, not Gimmick, Mascara, not really caring, as he has the GA. It's like Val uses his flash, however, he's not able to get anything
Oh,
from
man,
it.
just look at
The
the
Big
speed
China,
of Big China.
looks like they got another CC combo coming out. Elijah's probably going to have to
he
ult
may
here
have been
soon.
tanky throughout this game. I don't know if he's able to survive this one. Mr. Gold will fall, but it's traded out onto Elijah. One thing about the Grand might fall as well, but he lives on 1 HP.
Oh!
Gimmick.
Gimmick with these ultimates, just one-shotting every member of GFU, and Val's living on 1 HP himself, as all this CC combo just
There's
allows
another
GFU not to
triple
play.
Gimmick. He's up to 20 now. Unbelievable performance from him. GFU, how do you even find your way back in this game? You have an 0-12 Urgot, an 0-6 Rammus. Here you are in this game, facing these 2 unstoppable carries from Tarleton. What can you even do?
Yeah, funnily enough, Tarleton, they don't have a single kill besides on Melon Mascara, just leaving everything up to their carries to do the work. But so far, it's been working out good for them, as they're able to secure their first Baron of this series, and potentially look towards this Elder Dragon spawning.
Whatever
But it looks like-
lead that GFU had, that's completely thrown out the window. Everyone on Tarleton's side has reached level 18 now. You're gonna have a brawl here for the remainder of this game.
Potentially, these super minions might have allowed Tarleton to farm up long enough, getting all that extra gold from the siege minions, allowing them to come full build on almost every member now. You're talking about looking for this Elder Dragon. Tarleton is going to head down mid lane with 2 waves. Just massive with Baron buff. Looks like they're just going to back out. Looks like they're trying to maybe look for a pick like they have been doing so far. Gotta say, these past few fights have been started either from Big China or Val able to get 1 CC combo off, and Tarleton's able just to follow up onto it. A lot of pings coming out. Everyone's aware that this next fight is going to be a big fight. Both teams are trying to get down vision wherever they can. Jax right now is separated in bot lane. However, Urgot is top lane, so it looks like they're just doing that slight trade, trying to take out some minions.
Any kind of team wipe could potentially determine the game. Point high the damages. Important how they choose to take these fights. Tarleton used their Baron buff to try and push Wave. Barrett. Quickly out.
At this point, Gimmick is just poking the enemy with his Q. Oh, and Big China's going in. Looks like he's going to go in and taunt them.
Oh,
And Gimmick just does one combo and kills Thresh. So they're continuing to fight here. Aurora does use the Zonias. However, it looks like Val might get caught here. It looks like he does fall.
Big China, Val the Grand. Fight, both fall. Big China not able to live. Bjorddd gets the kill, but Mascara trades it out. Oh, this fight, I can't tell which way it's going. But the 2 carries from Tarleton are both still alive. Gimmick with the double kill. Mascara, he will fall despite having the GA. Elijah goes down.
And Tarleton won it!
For Tarleton.
I was the same way. I just kind of went quiet there because I was like, wait, where is this fight going? But sure enough, Tarleton's able to pull it out for themselves with the Baron buff. They might be able to end here. As, yeah, the death timers are just way too long at this point. Thresh is respawning. However, Gimmick should just be able to one-shot him as he's done to the rest of GFU. As Mr. Gold and Gimmick are just looking for this end push here.
And we just look at that, Tarleton looking to even up our series here at 1-1. Up to Gimmick and Mr. Gold to try and finish this one out. I don't think Thresh is able to defend. Doesn't appear that way. We are going to a game 3. Unbelievable.
What a banger of a 50-minute game. I mean, I don't mind at all if this is what we're going to see. A game 3 in a series like this. It's going to be very exciting to see what happens in this next game.
Look at the damage coming out from the Mel and fighting for over 100k. 34 kills between the two of them. A ridiculous performance from Mascara and Gimmick. We will cut it to a short break, but we'll be right back for the draft of game 3. Do not go anywhere. Unbelievable. Alrighty, guys. In a game important as this one, how could it not go to game 3? Here we are, heading into it. Similar bands out of the Tarleton side. Off with the Belveth. That shapewear form. Game 3s are always the most fun considering they are fearless drafts here. And all of them also similar look for Tarleton. Having that plan. Trying to force GFU into opposition. Harvin will be taken off the board. Final ban for Tarleton. That one a little fun. And Millia will be confirmed for the GFU. Here we go, Tarleton. They're going to first pick Wukong. China. Wukong having that nice engage. This from GFU. They're going to elect the match with the Skarner in the jungle as well as a Kale. Kale can be flexed into mid and top lane. Not quite sure where that one's going to end up just yet. Familiar with Kale, it's one of the best scaling champions in the game. And speaking of scaling champions, we might be getting a gimmick Nasus. That is exactly what we're going to get here. After his performance on the Mel, what could you ask for out of a game 3 of getting one of his absolute trademark champion? We're also going to hover the Ziggs. I don't know if we've seen Mascara play the Ziggs yet. We've seen it in mid lane from Gimmick. Clearly with the Nasus being confirmed, going to be a pick for Mascara in bot lane. Very interesting stuff. Excited to see if he's able to find some value out of this pick. They're going to opt to maybe the Maokai support. Solid CC ultimate. Fighting. Into our final 2 bans of this game, number 3. Taking their time to the bands are going to look like. Anna and Silas will be side. Final 2 bands. Tarleton, 1 being 8. I mentioned that this is a Maokai support, also a chance that is flexed in the top lane. Some options for GFU heading into this. They go ahead and lock in the ADC. It's going to be F. Pick well in most composition. Tarleton choose match this one. Fucking court and top lane. Seraphine from Oh, and Mbessa from Mr. Gold. I don't know if we've seen him pull this one out in a match yet. Mbessa scales really well into the lane. Have seemingly infinite dashes as well as that shield you get from the W. Such good engage. Hear that with the Nasus and the poke coming out from Seraphine. Engage from Wukong. I like the idea behind Tarleton's composition. GFU, their composition is going to be rounded out with the Dr. Mundo, meaning that this is going to be a Kale mid. I believe Gimmick likely suspected, which is why he matched with the Nat. There you have it. Very interesting from both sides. Who able to come out on top in this game number 3. Sides who moves further ahead in NECC play. Mentioned in the beginning of the series, they're relatively even. GFU sitting at 2-2, Tarleton with a 3-2 record. On my screen game momentarily. Go. Into game number 3.
Whew, an exciting game too. I'm still like a little shaken over it. That was a 50-minute bangers are always exciting to see, no matter who wins, just because going that far into the game, a lot has to happen. But in the end, our Texans are able to take it home. And yeah, I mean, we just went through this draft. What have been your thoughts so far on this draft?
I mean, you're looking at some like heavy scaling champions. I mean, Gimmick is immediately matching. I believe he assumed that this Kale was going to be into mid lane, matching with just as good of a scaling champion than Nasus. And Mbessa also scales pretty well into the late game. You have good engage with Wukong and Mbessa, as well as the poke from the. I like the idea behind Tarleton's composition. Clearly see the idea for GFU as well here. Kale, Dr. Mundo. Be really interesting to see how this game turns out.
Yeah, GFU must not have been aware of Gimmick's Nasus pick, as it has been completely banned out for the past few weeks, I believe. But every time he plays this champion, he makes sure to deliver on it. I mean, we've seen it many times happen before, and probably see it this game again.
Yeah, and he's finally getting an opportunity. You mentioned his banned out the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And what better time to bring it out than a game 3 against a team that you're pretty much even with in any play. I mean, it's just perfect. And then coming off that game too, I believe he had like 24 kills. I mean, could not hope for a better outcome here.
Yeah, but so far it looks like GFU went to the approach of almost playing completely around this Kale and potentially this Mr. Fortune, but just surrounding themselves with plenty of CC and tanks. However, we're just got to see if their tanks are going to be able to outlive Tarleton's brutal rundown or not. But so far, I do like Tarleton's comp here. And the Ambessa is able to just always dive into that back line. So although Misfortune or Kale may be your carry, she's just able to bypass all the tanks and instantly head straight to the back. As well as Ziggs and Seraphine ultimate just being able to almost follow up on that play. So it'll be very interesting to see these team fights happen. And we saw it these past few games where these team fights are kind of just the determining factor on which team ends up taking either the objectives like Dragon or securing the game ultimately.
And from what I can tell, like Tarleton's gonna have the potential for some ridiculous combos. Yeah, like 5v5 team fights. It's gonna be insane. Still looking forward to this game 3. Get on spectator.
Yeah, so far, kind of like what you mentioned, this has just been an insanely close series so far. In game 1, the gold lead was almost exactly the same up until the last few fights. And game 2, Tarleton able to bring back from a mega deficit and end up even losing, 5 objectives in a row, 2 Barons, 3 Dragons, but still managed to farm it out and able to clutch it in the end. And now going to this game 3, both teams having still late games champions on each side. Plenty of CC, plenty of escape as well. So gonna be a fire game 3. Can't wait to see what happens here. I don't know if Mascara has played the Ziggs APC bot lane yet. However, it is one of the more traditional APCs that you will see, as he's able to wave clear and constantly farm and just slowly scale up into these later fights. Ziggs bombs, kind of like Draven axes, able just to almost half HP people with 1 hit.
I'd say it's difficult to get caught on the having that kind of get out of jail. Kind of just a bounce free incontent. One of those picks that we've seen from Gimmick a couple times or haven't seen it from Mascara as of yet. Definitely has the ability to be really strong.
We might see some funny interactions this game with the Maokai. Whenever he W's onto a target, he kind of follows them. And so we might see him get chased around with the Mbessa ultimate, or like you're talking about that Ziggs W. He might just be dragged with it and get taken to wherever they end up going. But you don't see Maokai support too often anymore, as a lot of these range supports do kind of out-push it in laning phase. However, on the right, of course, anyone with the right hands on the right champion can perform on them.
Go. Without any more delay. Game number 3 to decide the series between George Fox University and Tarleton State.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Like we mentioned earlier, very important series here. Whoever wins this will almost kind of get put into the 4th position in NECC, which is very important for playoff priority as well. So both teams are very hungry, wanting this win. So they're going to give it their all in this last and final game. Be able to see whoever clutches out with the victory here. So far, Tarleton just going to do their normal 5-point. Unlike the previous 2 games, it looks like Mascara is going to go ahead and chill in this tri-bush instead of trying to go for that aggressive play early on. Besides that, looks like, again, in all 3 games, the junglers are just pathing top down, trying to play for their bot lanes. Looks like both the junglers this game too decided not to go a health pot either, trying to get that extra 50 gold.
Always have a ride.
I think you're already seeing, like, the Kale did some initial poke, but against Nasus with his passive, he's just able to heal up a lot of it.
Funny, Kale's one of the best skilling champions that a lot of people in tempo. Turning game is like our level 1 champion. Best scaling the late game. Nasus, he has plenty of sustain. Out with some of the scale.
You already see that bot lane, how toxic it can be with that double mage. They're just able to just lock their summoner abilities and just able to do a lot of poke on it. Misfortune, making it hard for her to CS. Looks like mid lane just a big battle going on, both of them constantly trading, but just kind of even. However, Nasus will be able to heal it out over time with his passive. I think the first fight that we're probably going to see happen here is over the spot scuttle. We've seen it the past 2 games where the junglers, they try to go for it. Game 1, it went over to GFU, while Game 2, it went on to Tarleton's side. However, now with this Misfortune extremely low, are they able to get anything here? It's like they're actually going to end up Val having to flash away while Misfortune is using her barrier to escape.
Nice cancel scare there too.
Yeah, able to slow down that Misfortune's return to lane, possibly being able to deny some minions.
There though, Mascara. Art has made his way over here. Luckily being covered by Big China.
Looks like Big China's going to go give up the Scuttle Crab there.
Gotta keep in mind, Ziggs has some mana issues in the earth. Aware of that. Reset in at some point.
He does have TP though, so whenever he does take his first reset, he'll be able to instantly get back to lane. He'll probably end up getting the tier, just like you said, to be able to deal with that mana issue. Fortune just got back to lane, but it's almost chunked down to half HP already. Mascara just able to stay a little bit longer than Val, just because he does have that TP. He's able to wait out. You just wait though, as mid lane is still just a big battle fest here, as they're constantly trading. However, Gimmick with his lifesteal just end up able to be now have the HP advantage. Mr. Gold's able to develop a slight lead in the top side here. He does have a potion advantage as well as slight CS advantage as he's starting to bully this Mundo off of the wave. Looks like Gimmick might be going in here. First blood! The kill just walks up too close, and Nasus Q just go ahead and slams her down into the grave.
Underestimating the Q damage, perhaps. Gimmick earning himself a first kill. Kind of leaving off where it was last game.
He has been a big difference maker for Tarleton here in both games. Like you said, being able to pick up that first blood, and last game it's what led him to be able to snowball into what, the 23 kills he had? So if I were him, I'd definitely be happy with that.
Great start for Gimmick once again.
Especially when he's on a champion that he's very comfortable with that we've seen before. In the meantime, it looks like Skarner is going for a gank down in the bot lane. It looks like Val's just able to escape though. Nothing ends up coming out of it. But they do go ahead and get the Maokai Flash, so it's going to remove a lot of that kill pressure that GFU has in this lane. Ooh, Mascara flashes forward with a W.
Flash out from the Misfortune. Meantime, Gimmick gonna go ahead and fight this one out. Ultimate dealing massive amounts of damage to the Skarner. Eventually, he decides to back his way out. Still, that could end up being Drake secured, unless if you decide to turn this one, still having the Kale available.
I don't know if they know that Big China's on Dragon or not. Looks like they're just able to go and secure this first Dragon, and Mascara is able to pick up a free tower plate as well. And now Gimmick just has mega control in this mid lane, just like last game. Has the wave on his side and everything.
Pretty solid early game for Tarleton. Yeah, Drake will end up getting. No, Tarleton. Oh, and Kale in trouble. Puts to immediately rip the ultimate.
Gimmick doesn't really have enough mana to follow through fully, but with Kel not having ultimate, she's gonna have to be really careful in this next up until she has it again. This Gimmick so far has just been able to almost walk freely at her whenever he wants.
Part of the game where Nasus really becomes a problem. In these levels from like level 10 to level 16, incredibly dangerous. Nasus.
He's kind of running out of fumes with his mana supply right now. So he won't really be able to contribute to a Grubs fight. However, it looks like Big China's going to go up and just try to 1v1 the Skarner, forcing him off the Grubs. It's like Tarleton, it looks like another fight's going to break out as Maokai's rotating for this as well. First time of this series. Yeah, Tarleton's able to get 2 Grubs. So not only they get the first dragon, but they also get the Grubs, securing them 1 objective away from getting the feat. Right now, we already see a CS difference in the mid lane and in the bot lane. Going very good for Tarleton. We saw this same position last game. It's like Tarleton kind of figured out how they want to go about fighting GFU.
Arguably, this is one of the best early games, or if not the best early game in this series for Tarleton.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the bot lane being able to survive ganks from the Skarner, as well as Gimmick securing that first blood and ultimately getting the 2 objectives for Big China. Everything's just kind of going right for them currently. At this point, you can kind of see that confidence coming out in Val, just stepping up and keeping that misfortune away from the wave, and Gimmick just pushing the Kale off of the wave mid lane. Val preemptively flashes as he knows Skarner's trying to look for him. Like Skarner's just trying to help out his bot lane, but Tarleton's just able to have enough wards so they know whenever it's coming.
In the meantime, Gimmick can back away. Nasus.
Looks like Mascara is running out of mana as well now. He might have to reset, although he might just try to wait for his teleport. He's able to take all these free resets. It looks like Misfortune does opt to go for the Vampiric Scepter just to have some lifesteal to try and survive all this poke coming from Tarleton's bot lane. But yeah, having that tier in Lost Chapter, I guess he doesn't have a tier yet, but he does have that Lost Chapter, is just kind of helping out with Mascara's mana issues. Able to keep him in lane a little bit longer, stalling out for that TP. And all that poke just going on the Misfortune, forcing the Maokai to ult. Looks like Val's going to return with the ult of his own, possibly trading 1 for 1. Oh, no, the Misfortune lives on 1 hit.
Hale also teleport. I think Mascara will go down. But I'd say GFU expending a few resources to try and that one.
Yeah, if Val was able to trade that Misfortune there, it could have been almost worth it for Tarleton, going 1 for 1 or 1 for 2. But in the end, like you said though, they still had to use up so many resources just to get both of them that might just allow Tarleton to have breathing room for the next couple of minutes. In the meantime, Gimmick's just able to farm up mid lane, get some couple of free waves there. Both Gimmick and Mascara use their TPs to get back to their lanes, not missing any of the action.
Just for Val the Grey, just kind of caught out. Flash from Maokai gonna force him back to the river, and that's gonna be feet. Side of GFU. China's gonna apply the ultimate there onto the Maokai. I think Mascara has the damage to try and finish him off. Not quite. Cancelled by Mascara as he doesn't flash out of there, but now Bjorddd's gonna look to go in. Mascara's taking down the low HP. Goes down, but how much can Gimmick find for this? China's gonna eliminate one. Gimmick gets the second, and now this Skarner's gonna look to chase. Big China, he's on the run. Flash from Skarner does connect, but now can Gimmick clean up the kill? Here we go. Skarner is tanky. Gimmick applying as many Qs as he can. Be able to take him down. Looks like it, he will. Gimmick on a killing spree, he's up to 3.
Yeah, although Tarleton loses a lot of the members of their own, all the kills go on to Gimmick. As we saw last game, I don't think Tarleton minds that at all. As GFU splits up their kills between their Skarner and Misfortune. I think Tarleton's very happy with how that turned out. They're able to make it go 4-5.
Turret plating will soon fall.
With Gimmick having 3-0.
Getting those plates in the face of GFU as well. Further pushes the lead.
At this point, it seems like this Nasus can just rock up, almost like the Cassante last game, just being so beefy and tanky, but almost one-shotting any member. GFU is going to have to really respect it in these upcoming objective fights, as this Ocean Drake has spawned. GFU does have the first look on it here. They might try to pull it out and try and start this dragon.
We're going to go ahead and gun for it. I think we're going to be getting any kind of contest out of it. Hate to it. Now the Grand's ultimate does connect onto the Skarner. Here comes the fight. Trying to do a significant amount of damage. Gimmick gets running through that, and Misfortune ult. Oh, just absolutely destroys the Maokai on a rampage now. Hard to lose this Drake. Gain a kill in return. Gale is also forced to face.
Gimmick's just trying to look for some hits on this tower. It might be first tower as Ziggs W does execute the tower. As he finishes it, and Misfortune just can't move with this Wither, and Nasus just runs her down, getting a kill onto Mascara.
I mean, just look at the Q damage. It's absolutely unholy out of Gimmick.
At this moment, he's just snowballing out of control. His Q just two-shotting the tanks and one-shotting the ADC. Not much GF can do right now, except try and take those sneaky objectives like they did with that dragon. Looks like with the Nasus and Wukong, they're going to go and look for a Herald play here. Trying to look for their third and final objective to secure the feed. As they got the first tower as well, Tarleton does get the feats of warfare for this game.
I feel like the one lane we haven't talked about yet is this top lane matchup, and as I'm saying that, we are getting some fighting happening right now. Elijah is going to take a significant amount of damage. Big China, I think he's a little bit caught out. He's down 2 levels on the Skarner. He's going to go down.
He rides that Herald into the tower, but seems like he just gets traded out for it in the end. Looks like they're going to give up the bot to tier 1 as well. As it goes over to GFU. Tarleton is going to continue to kind of look to push mid lane as Skarner engages. Val able to hit a double root.
There's the ultimate
Kale does.
out from Kale. I don't know if Mascara's any way out. He does not. Bjorddd gets the kill. Seems like Val the Grand is also going to get caught.
So far, a lot of trades happening here. Still even gold. Like we were talking about earlier, this series has just been extremely close in every single game. But so far, we've seen Gimmick just develop this massive lead, and looks like he's going to be the main character on Tarleton's end here.
So funny, you look at the top lane matchup. Even CS, even kills.
Yeah, they just shook hands and decided to farm it out.
Crazy that majority of kills actually on this Skarner.
That must be that Heartsteel just helps securing that little extra damage to get him some kills. However, that does allow him to be an item ahead now. He's able to finish his Sunfire cape, and that should might be able to help him out in this next fight to come. Looks like they're just letting Gimmick to 1v2 mid lane here. He doesn't mind that at all. Looks like Mr. Gold's just constantly trading with the Mundo. They almost just trade equal amounts of HP.
Oh. Pretty equal. Favor
Like Big China.
The danger of getting off.
Yeah, definitely. That ult can just always heal him up, and with that Warmogs too, he was really low, but now he's almost back up. But then Mr. Gold damage is definitely there. He's able to try and stop Mundo's healing. See right now, everyone's just kind of returning back to farming, probably up until this next dragon spawn. In this series so far, it seems like most of these fights are happening around those objectives. GFU is on some vision right now. Tarleton might try and make a play happen. They did commit the Mundo TP up to top lane, so they won't have it for this next dragon spawn. So if Mr. Gold does decide to roam down, it will give him the number advantage. Or he might just decide to stay and farm and trade with this Mundo.
Mundo's clearly willing to take trades, knowing he has a Warlock passive available.
The dragon has spawned, so it looks like everyone's starting to hover around it. The camera goes as a swap, except for Mr. Gold's also fighting this Mundo up here. Tarleton does get the advantage. They're able to secure the
potential team by his Gimmick. He's not going to waste any time, but he gets caught by the CC. That's kind of Nass's biggest weakness. Hope he doesn't get bursted here, and he does. Every ultimate being applied onto him, and now Tarleton, they're going to have to run for their lives. Get out of dodge. Now Mr. Gold, he's going to be chased down by the Mundo. Caught by Elijah. Fight still being attempted here from Tarleton. Pretty decent poke out of Mascara. Let's see if they continue to try this one. Oh, and he gets the catch onto the Maokai. How much more can they find here? Big China looking for the steal, doesn't quite get it. He actually just goes down for free. Meantime, Skarner's continue to push his advantage. Makes out Val the Grand, and that is a good team fight to the side of GFU.
Nasus just steps too far up, and he ends up getting caught away from the rest of his team. As GFU has a lot of lockdown that they're able to put down onto the Nasus, using almost all their ultimates to shut him down. But yeah, without Gimmick there, Tarleton doesn't really have much left to do.
Gimmick. Fighting ability.
Absolutely. I will say Mascara has been farming like a madman. Now up 45, almost 45 CS up on this Misfortune. He's just trying to get the lead he can there, and with that kill on Maokai, might allow him to keep getting these items. Now eventually, with a lot of these stationary champions that GFU has, not very many dashes, the Ziggs ultimate will have a lot of value in these fights. It might be able to help provide that peel and space that Nasus needs.
I think you kind of saw the potential of the Zig poke in the last team fight without the Nasus being there, getting caught out earlier. Imagine in a 5 versus 5 scenario, the Ziggs will have much more additional impact even. Ends up being.
See, both teams are just hovering this Otacon as it has spawned. Ziggs is just trying to poke out the members of GFU, not trying to let them get any vision or enter the pit. Now chunking the Maokai down to almost half HP, just from throwing all these Qs. Where it is costing a lot of Mascara's mana as well to keep throwing these out.
Tarleton seems like they're gonna go ahead and siege the turret. And the top lane is just in their own world. Both kind of just been like lane locked this entire so far.
Looks like Mascara's gonna be forced to base as he doesn't have any more mana. However, his TP is coming up soon, and he has been farming, so he might have enough gold to finish his item. Looks like he does leave base without it. Looks like Big China might be getting caught here. However, he is able to Wukong W over the wall. However, that might be enough for GFU to go and jump the gun and start this Otacon.
Play. Wasting no time, especially with Ziggs being spotted top now. Otacon is going to be started. Likely finished. Doesn't look like Tarleton has any kind of play on this.
Tarleton's going to do that.
Question.
We saw last game, the XP Otacon gives can always be massive. Like now, Kale's up a level on Gimmick, even though he had such big control over the whole lane. Just goes to show how strong that objective is. There's also like a 2-level lead top lane and a 3-level lead jungle, it seems.
Are we gonna have to work hard to the gap in XP that there seems to be at the moment? But they were able to do so in the previous game. Possible here.
You have to be aware of this Mundo top lane here. Looks like he's going to choose to reset. I was about to say that no one is really top side to stop him from pushing, but looks like he's just going to go and reset for now. Pick up a Brambles Vest. Gotta get that anti-heal, especially into Nasus. As we kind of saw during laning phase, how much he can benefit from that. Especially from his passive and how much it can help him. Looks like Mr. Gold might try to go for this kill here. Chunking her down.
Getting to the point in the game where Kale and Mundo really tend to be a problem. So reaching that level 16 and unkillable with his ultimate.
A slight catch on Maokai, but it looks like Tarleton and GFU not really wanting to fight at this moment. Just kind of all just playing passive, but this dragon has spawned. We're gonna have to see how they want to play around this upcoming fight. Gimmick is not at this fight yet. However, he does have TP. Or he might just want to try and catch this Mundo wave first before he tries to shove it under tower.
All looks like here for Tarleton. Dragon is guarded. Bit of poke being done by the Ziggs. He kind of tempt forward. Big China, he moves in. He's stolen the Drake. Big charm landed from Val the Grand. That's 2 kills going the way of Tarleton. Make it 3. Unbelievable team fight. Not only do they get the objective, they get all 4 kills. A double for Big China.
That's the first steal for Big China in this series, but a big steal it was, especially in Game 3. Able to tie up the Dragons 2-2, and that became that fight. I got a little worried as Mr. Gold missed the Imbecile ultimate. However, it did not matter as Val the Grand hits a massive Seraphine ultimate, hitting almost every member of GFU. On top of Mascara, lobbing his ultimate and his bombs, just annihilating their entire team. And now Gimmick is turning it onto the Mundo, running him down. However, Mundo pops the ultimate. All that tankiness.
Here too in the Wither. I don't know if he has any way out of this. If the
Looks like they're sending a TP trying to help his team out.
Oh my gosh, this Mundo, and he gets Kale ultimate on top of that. Not enough damage to finish him off. Good attempt there out of Tarleton. Ziggs bomb comes in. Quite connect. But Kale kind of underestimating the damage from Mascara.
Crazy that the Mundo was able to get out of there. He's like 6k HP at this point.
Mr. Gold is a little bit caught out as he forces the flash. I believe teams are gonna escape with no casualties.
Our GFU is forced to use the teleport on Kale and her flash. And Mundo using the Ghost, so a lot of, and Maokai using the Ignite, so a lot of summoners coming out on GFU's side. Tarleton having to use 2 flashes of their own. But man, that team fight down at the Dragon, I just have to say, very well played on Tarleton's end. Able to stack their CC like that and their damage. If they can keep team fights up like that, GFU's going to have a big problem this game.
I mean, team fights like that have potential to turn the game entirely. See Tarleton now having the goal lead. I believe they were down but prior to that fight begin.
7-12, instantly brought up to 11-12, and getting that dragon. To see it's going to be Hextech Soul, which will be a massive soul for whichever team gets it, as the slowing capabilities and the damage it brings can be massive, especially for Ziggs. Like we saw at the previous Autocom fight where he's just throwing his Qs to poke him down. If you have a Hextech Soul on top of that, it's really hard to even just try and play and move. This point,
Some of that XP cap as well. China's only down 1 level now. Gimmick catching level 15 tail.
gotta say, next time Nasus appears on the screen, you probably have to click on him just so we can see how many stacks he's got racked up. Ooh, 621 at 28 minutes. That's pretty dangerous, especially when he pops that ultimate, dealing almost double that amount to enemy champions. No wonder it just shreds through them.
Their stage is here's the 30-minute mark. Opposition. Better scaling potential.
You can see Mascara with that mega CS gap, almost up 70 from the Misfortune. Definitely allowing them to get a lot of extra items and damage in these team fights, almost being a big difference along the Gimmick here. Looks like on GFU side though, they got their 2 Heart Steel stacking up to be above a little over 200 stacks on both of their members that have it. Probably would want that to be a little bit higher at this point in the game, but both teams have been extremely passive as they've only been trying to fight around these important objectives, just kind of leaving it up to that.
Even though it's tough to take down, I mean, you know, level 18 items. That ultimate.
They're definitely going to bring him into this next fight to try and start Tarleton, as we saw him at that topside fight, how long he can last and just survive. He has yet to be at a team fight yet, so it could just be the difference GFU needs. Or it just might not be enough. GFU's grouping up here, getting ready to start this dragon fight. However, Tarleton does have the main pit control here. As Mundo is trying to flank, he might just try to head straight for the back line. Nasus does get the Wither down on Misfortune.
Captured Mascara. He's gonna get rooted and hit by the Misfortune ult. But Mascara is able to live through it all. Unbelievable Gimmick. He goes down first. Immediate follow-up from Big China. He's on a killing spree. Mr. Gold doing massive amounts of damage. Double kill for Mascara. Mundo, he's gonna be the issue. He has popped his ultimate, so no longer with that available to him. Should go down here, and he will. It is an ace for Tarleton.
I gotta say, so far, Valdegrain has been having these massive ultimates. I keep saying it, but geez, he's just able to take out the Misfortune ult every single time, completely removing any value she brings to these team fights, as she just charms her and just stops her from doing any damage. And from there, Nasus is just able to walk into the team, and Ambessa as well is able to clutch out these fights, ultimately ending up being 2 for an ace, as well as getting Dragon, putting them to sole point. Tarleton definitely liking the position they're in now.
I mean, are you seeing the H Mascara is living that fight on? Like, there's absolutely a difference maker. He's able to continue to throw Qs from a distance after living that initial combo out from GFU. Unbelievable stuff, and now Tarleton in a great position.
This is the exact escape that you're talking about in draft, where the Mascara just uses W to get over the wall, which allowed him to live like that, not even have to use Flash. which is very vital as it allows, as you see, every member of Tarleton will have their flash in this next fight that they choose to do. So this might also just give them the confidence they need to start up Baron or just try and look for another fight.
We're gonna be hovering around the objective. I'm just gonna be paid just to get his master into the bot lane. Try and catch this incoming wave.
Every person in this game does have their TP back up though, so I'm sure anyone could instantly rotate whenever they wanted to. However, it looks like Tarleton might just be trying to wait passively up into their soul, as this Hextech soul, like we're talking about earlier, can just be completely game breaking. See, everyone's just kind of chilling out and farming. You see Mascara probably just going back to bot lane to catch this wave. So he might be staying mid here, actually. Everyone's just trying to secure their own vision. This Baron is definitely on everyone's mind right now. GFU does have Prio on that mid wave, which is going to force Tarleton to either... it looks like they're going to go pick up the wave. Meantime, Mr. Gold is standing slightly out of the bush. I don't know if they see him or not. Possibly trying to bait them in.
A lot of grouping around this objective. Far no attempt on it just yet.
We see both teams with 5 of their members here in mid lane. Everyone's definitely looking to fight. However, as soon as Tarleton does look to step up a little, GFU backs out, not wanting to fight just yet. A Wither does come out, which allows Mascara to hit 1 bomb, doing half of Kale's HP. He's able to heal up a little bit. However, just seeing that combo is definitely what Tarleton wants to do right now, is just kind of poke them down. In the meantime...
Here's the combo from NF. And it's going to land 2 kills for GFU. It's a massive team fight. Oh, Tarleton been completely caught out. It is a triple kill for She-Bear. This Fortune having massive impact, and that should be a Baron call immediately.
This time, Tarleton not able to get any of their ultimates out and just getting caught barehanded, and they end up all falling down to the hands of GFU. So yeah, I believe Skarner got a triple ultimate there. Just locked down long enough where Seraphine wasn't able to get her ult out in time to stop the Misfortune ult from tearing up the team.
Rough one from Tarleton. Immediately turned the gold lead in favor of GFU. I think 4 shutdowns off that.
And we've seen it before in these past few games where GFU, they like to make good usage out of this Baron as well. So we might see a lot of siege coming through on their end here, and possibly trying to set up and secure this dragon. However, Tarleton does have the soul point, so they might just go ahead and they could give this next dragon if they felt like it. Or they might still feel confident in their team fighting abilities and try to look for a rematch. So far we see that Mascara's finished his death cap, so he is very strong on the Ziggs now. Any one of his bombs can definitely do a lot of damage to any member of GFU. Looks like Tarleton's not trying to back down from this objective. As Dragon spawns, Tarleton walks up. Again, fighting from the same side they fought these past few dragons.
Well, they just have to be aware of this combo, and here it comes. That's gonna be it. Barrett does connect. China's gonna be a target. In the meantime, Mr. Gold has made his way onto the back line. Gale Ultimate's going to be utilized early. Mascara getting first blood. It may kill go down along with Mr. Gold, and it looks like Tarleton, they're going to try and fall back, but the Mundo is going to chase. I don't think Mascara has any way out. No, he does not. E-Bear is unstoppable. They're going to continue to chase.
With this Baron here, GFU might just try and look for an ending push Tarleton doesn't have any wave clear left on their side to really finish off these Baron minions. While Misfortune might be able to shred these towers.
Still 4 alive. Struggle for Gallagher and Big China. Hold the phase off. Not looking good. Tarleton, they're on the edge of defeat. And unfortunately, the Nexus will fall. It will be GFU to take this one 2-1 series. Very close series at that.
Yeah, all 3 games, very close goal difference in all of them. However, Tarleton able to come back with a crazy game 2. However, game 3, GFU is able to end it out with their Baron and ultimately end up taking the win on the series.
Question for me going into this game 3 was which composition was going to scale harder into the late game, and it seemed that the answer was clear. Mundo, Kale, Misfortune, all these Garner's landing some key ultimates there in those massive team fights on the objectives. Hear this one for GF2, and credit to them. They're able to get the win here today. Good hard fight from our Tarleton Texans. They will fall to 3-3. GFU move to 3-2. Play. Yeah, that'll just about do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bjorddd, little PowPow here today. And then tomorrow we'll have Overwatch. Be back for some more League of Legends, excuse me, next week. Thank you guys so much for watching.